Speak her name, the voice of your fourth generation grandmother. Speak her name. You may or may not know the name of your fourth generation grandmother. However, she is speaking through you. She is speaking to you. And everything you are doing and saying and how you're acting is your fourth generation grandmother. Speak her name. How do you speak her name if you don't know her name? She is asking for you to connect with her, to connect with your ancestor. You are living her life. And I'm speaking to the women right now. You are living her life. You are speaking her words. You are speaking her thoughts. You are sharing her passion. Speak her name. This is the time we're in right now is the time when these fourth generation grandmothers are begging, are desiring, are aspiring to share their stories, to share their truth, to share their medicine, to share their magic. Speak her name. Well, how do you speak her name if you don't know her name? You begin with the intention of wanting to connect with her because she is very, very much alive in you. She's very much alive in you. Her stories that haven't been told. How did she get to where she ended? What are her stories? What is her magic? What is her truth? Who had control over her body? Who had control over her voice? If you don't know her name, what can you do? If you don't have her listed in your lineage, because you have yet to be able to trace her, connect with her, what do? You begin with the intention. You make room for her. You create an altar. If you don't have an ancestor altar, create an ancestor altar. And put your ancestors on that altar. Place their photos, place their names on that altar. Light a candle for them. Give them food, give them water. Give them their favorite thing. What if you don't know what that is? You set the intention that she can reveal herself. You create a space, a sacred place for her energy. For her place that she can call home. Speak her name. And when you set this intention, you will be very surprised, especially if you're an intuitive woman, a sacred woman, a magical woman, a woman connected to the land, a woman connected to the other side. So you set this intention and watch what happens. She may speak in your dreams. She may speak through another. I want to give you an example because I didn't believe any of this stuff for many years. I come from a Catholic background, a Christian background, and of course a background with connecting to the earth and to the land and to the stars. But the Christian Catholic background was very, very strong. And anything having to do with the ancestors was considered demonic. But your ancestors were not demonic. Maybe some of them were naughty. Maybe some of them were influenced by negativity, negative energies, negative entities. But they weren't demonic. You don't come from a demonic lineage. And so I had this belief because of the teachings in the church that I could not connect, I should not connect, dare not connect with my ancestors. And I have a whole story about that, but I want to stick with the fourth generation grandmother. So I didn't believe any of this. And I did lots and lots and lots of connecting and work around the ancestors. And I didn't have a complete lineage, genealogy. And then one day, and I did hear the story. So one of my fourth generation grandmothers is Amalia Velasquez and her mother. And I heard this story about her coming from the Canary Islands to Puerto Rico. My family is from the island of Puerto Rico. And I was always curious, like, how did she get to Puerto Rico? And I mean, that was way back then, 1800s, 1700s. How did she get to Puerto Rico? How did she get the name Amalia Velasquez? That's Spanish, of course. And so I was always curious. And then one day, I was presented with the name. I was presented with photographs. And I was presented with date of transition. And then things started falling into place. That's just one of my fourth generation grandmothers. I have another fourth, fifth generation grandmother that's called Crispula Quesada de Sabater. And I was really disturbed when I received information about her. And when I would receive these documents and these pictures, I would have a visceral reaction. I got nauseous, flushed from my toes to my top of my head in less than a second flat, and I would tuck the pictures and documents into a drawer. And when I had the courage, when I had the enough healing under my belt, I pulled them out again and I looked at it, and my brain started making connections. And then I started like, well, what is your story? Because I'm a storyteller. My background's in the arts, telling lots of stories through dance, through music, through theater, through visual arts, storytelling. And I'm a researcher, so my curiosity, like, what was your story? How the heck did you get to Puerto Rico? How old were you when you arrived? How old were you when you were separated from your land of origin, your land of birth? Did you come with your mother? Did you come with your family? What were your traditions? How did you prepare food? What happened to you? who had control over your body, your voice, your stories, your magic. And as I began to ask these questions, and it didn't all happen in one day or 1 minute, 1 hour, it was over time. And when I was strong enough to really hear the voice and the voices of my fourth generation grandmothers, wow. And why is this important for you? Because you are her voice. You are her story. You are her prayers. Everything you're doing now, not only genetically, but through the DNA codes, is her. She has and is affecting you, influencing you. And when we're conscious of it and we have this connection, now we have more strength. Now we have more power. Now we have more courage. Now we have more fire, like I do right now. I'm like pissed when I think about her or them crossing these vast oceans to the island of Puerto Rico, from the Canary Islands, from Spain. And I do have fourth generation grandmothers from the island, literally born on the island of Puerto Rico, who were Taína. I'm still waiting to hear that story. And when we know where we came from, oh my gosh, we are, for me, so much more empowered, so much more centered, so much more courageous. There's so much more pride, so much more resourced, because your fourth generation grandmothers, they had gifts, they had desires, they had prayers, they had magic, they had recipes, they had medicine, they had ways of celebrating, they had intelligence. And when we embrace our fourth generation grandmothers, now we become more whole, more complete. Who had control over their bodies, their sexuality, their womb spaces? What was done to them? Were they a rebellious female? Was she a passive female? Because many of our fourth generation grandmothers and many of the women in our lineages could not stand in a complete power because of the domination. Like, who would on their own cross a vast ocean, a dangerous journey, most likely, on their own? Who would do that? As a child, as a preteen, as a young woman, especially in those times. And I'm just talking about my fourth generation grandmothers, by the way, because of this work that I've been doing. And by the way, they're behind me. You can see mothers, you can see grandmothers and grandfathers. And I mean, I have so many documents behind me, I was able to go back just recently 8 generations deep on the matrilineal side. 8 generations deep. Who is your 4th generation grandmother? What is the story? Speak her name. Speak her name. Allow her truth to be spoken through you. Make the connections, connect the dots. Allow her to become alive in you, through you, and as you. This is powerful work, and especially now in the times that we're in. Why? First of all, the technology allows us to get more information and put those dots together in our genealogy and the stories. And second of all, your 4th generation grandmother had a very powerful womb. She had a very powerful womb, the sacred space, the sacred place of radiance, of illumination, of light, of codes. Your 4th generation grandmother had these codes that came from her mother and her grandmother and her 4th generation grandmother. Connected to the land, connected to the stars, connected to the creatures, connected in all ways to the sun. And that's who you are. And at this time on planet Earth, this is what we're needing. We are needing women who are so connected to their roots, so connected to the earth, so connected to their genealogy and to their lineage, to the stories, to their magic, to their power. Why? Because every man and every child and every woman comes through the womb. And when we speak her name, it allows her to heal. It allows the generations behind her to heal and in front of her to heal, and that's including you. And when these beautiful souls, these beautiful women are whole and connected and healed, then the world heals, the universe heals. We do not have to suffer. We don't have to suffer. It's done. Speak her name. Speak the voice of your 4th generation grandmother. Give a voice. This is Dr. Ayanna Mojica, activating the full potential of people, places, culture, and wealth. If you would like to go deeper into this, what I'm sharing right now,